Howdy folks, you're watching Deuce and Guns, and I'm down here at the farm, and while I was driving down to the farm I realized the F-250, the old F-250 doesn't have as much oomph as it used to. Now, I don't know if it's something that's electrical or whatnot, but first we're going to deal with the easy options, easy things, easy fixes. That's usually the mantra of a shade tree mechanic. Start with the easy stuff first. Well, she runs like a top, idles beautifully, super reliable as far as starting goes. It starts in the cold, starts when it's hot, no problems at all. Goes down a highway at 75 miles an hour, no problem, but it just doesn't have that kick. You put the hammer down, it doesn't have that diesel kick. You know, it kicks down and it's just not as strong as it used to be. Now it has 200,000 miles on it, but the 7.3 liter engine, that's nothing. 200,000 miles is not a big deal at all. But unfortunately, it's also 20 years old, which means all the plastic crap that's been bolted to this engine from 20 years ago has degraded over time. All the little moving valves has had, those seals have been, degrading from just ozone and from the heat cycles and everything else. So 20 years can do its toll even if it doesn't have a lot of miles. So what could cause an issue with a low power issue like that? Because it's not bogging down. It's got plenty of power, but it doesn't have that oomph, that real strong diesel feel to it anymore. A diesel engine, the concept of a diesel engine is very simple. It's a very simple machine. You need air, you need fuel, and you need combustion, which in a diesel engine comes from compression. I got plenty of compression. The thing idles very smoothly, so I have no compression issues whatsoever. I can tell that just off the bat. But I don't know if I don't have enough airflow at the top, top range of the power curve. Do I not have enough airflow, or do I not have enough fuel flow? Those are basically the two things. Now, it gets way more complicated than that, but we're going to start off with these simple things first and take a look at the air filter, make sure that's not clogged up with debris, or make sure that a squirrel hasn't gone in there and put his nuts in it. Okay, first of all, we're going to take off this air cleaner top here, which means we've got to take off this right here. This is, of course, just for the old body style 7.3 liter engines. Fords almost always use an 8mm socket for everything. That just comes right out. I don't already see, it looks all right. It looks okay, but we will verify that. Trust but verify, as Reagan used to say. This is pretty cool because it just takes the 1/4 inch ratchet or screwdriver, whatever you happen to be using. And that filter looks practically brand new. Take a look at that. I mean, there's some soot right there, but that filter's good. I don't see any other issues here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this part off here as well, and we're gonna take a look at the turbo itself and just make sure that's looking decent. Okay, I've taken the whole air cleaner assembly off there, and I'm gonna use my through-night TC20 to look down in there, take a look at the turbo. Make sure we're not missing fins, make sure everything looks the way it's supposed to. And yeah, it looks fine. It looks just fine. No problems whatsoever. It looks clean too. It looks very clean. Alrighty, folks, it is safe to say I have fixed my F-250. I've been running it for about 2 weeks now as my everyday vehicle, which means a long commute in the morning, a long commute in the afternoon, and I put about 1,000 miles on it, between 900 and 1,000 miles since I fixed it on the farm, or was thinking I was fixed it. And I did actually fix it on the farm. I just basically farm ingenuity here. And what I did was I unclogged, or I guess reset, the exhaust back pressure valve. Now what that is actually, let me change out the lenses real quick and I'll zoom you in into the engine compartment. Now the exhaust back pressure valve is located right past the turbo. So there's a big turbo right there. And I'm gonna shine some light down here. And that right there is the actuation of the valve. This whole thing right here is an exhaust gas back pressure valve, basically. And what it does, it's a butterfly valve. Zoom out a little bit. It's a butterfly valve that closes and opens if it needs to. Well, it closes when it needs to help the engine heat up. In a cold environment, these engines do run cold, and it takes a long time for them to heat up. So the computer shuts down that valve and causes a load onto the engine as if it's going up a hill or something. And it helps the engine maintain or reach optimum temperature quickly. Well, I am in a Southern truck. This was a Southern spec truck. It does not even have a block heater in it from the factory. It's typically only needed if you are living in an environment that is usually under 20 degrees Fahrenheit or basically below 0 Celsius. So you're going to need that to help your engine stay warm and warm up quicker. In cold environments, here in the South, it is not necessary at all. So what I did was, I took my pliers and I cranked it open, all the way open, the way it should be. And then, let me jimmy over here, I unplugged the dang thing. And now we're going to zoom in on the other side of the turbo inlet there. And I think you can see that pretty well. There is an electronic plug over here. I'm going to put, again, my breaker bar over here on it. It's right there. I'm covering it up right there. And all I did was unplug that, and that keeps the computer still sending a signal that the truck is too cold, but it doesn't do anything. It just stops right there and does not go in to try to actuate that valve. So in conclusion, if your F-250 is running smoothly at idle, idle's just fine, but it just doesn't have that get up and go. You know, it doesn't have that old school muscle that it used to have from low end power all the way to the top end power. It just doesn't have it there. Then you might want to take a look at that. And what I did basically, it just kind of forced a valve all the way open with a pair of pliers. I just grabbed a hold of that sucker and wrenched on it until it stopped moving. I got a bigger hammer basically. And that took care of that, and then I unplugged it so it would never get stuck again. Now this works for me in a southern state. This may not work for you, but it is something to consider if you do have the same symptoms I did. Now before you start typing, I'm going to tell you right now that every single time I mention that this truck did not have a block heater, it does not have a block heater on it, people always comment that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I just have to look for it, and it's down underneath there. It is not here. I've been wrenching on this truck for over 10 years. I know what a block heater looks like. It is not here. And let me show you, because I know where it's supposed to go, and I will show you where the factory plug is that plugs up the hole where the block heater is, or should be. Alrighty folks, we've climbed underneath the truck, and there is the oil filter, the good old Motorcraft 1995 oil filter. And right above that, you can see that plug right there is where the block heater would be. And that is completely factory. It's got rust on it from the factory. It's got the factory Loctite on it, or the sealant there. That is where the block heater would be on the old body style truck. And it is not there. That is a factory installation, and Southern trucks just did not come with those sometimes. Now I could install one, but why would I? I'm not going to install one. I don't need one, so why would I install one? Well guys, I hope this helps you out today with your F-250 or 7.3 liter engines. Hope this really helps you out, because I drove it kind of anemic style. It got worse and worse, but I drove it anemically for probably 3 or 4 months before I figured this out. So hopefully this helps you out and helps you diagnose the problem quicker than I did. Well guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and go up subscribe. A lot more is on the way. And if you have any comments, questions, or show what it is, leave that in the comment box below the video. I'm pretty cramped underneath this truck here. And of course, you guys have a great day. See ya.